If you want to get good 5S in your factory, I've got a couple of great tips for you. Hello, I'm Tom. Welcome to my channel where we make operational excellence practical. And today we will be doing that with 5 nice tips on 5S, the workplace organization system. Don't let me catch you calling it a cleaning system. And that's not even one of the tips. So 5S is this 5 steps, no 6S for safety please, system of organizing the workplace around the work and the operator, for lack of a better word, but around the person actually doing the work. Super important. Let's get over a couple of very practical tips, and I just, wish that some of my clients would have known before they started, and that often lead me to some discussions on why do you really do it. And let's immediately start off with sort of the importance of 5S and making sure that you give it a good start. So the big tip here is to start small, but to think big. What do I mean with that? Think of the broader picture, right? The bigger picture for your whole site, for the office and the factory floor and logistics. Make sure that you set up at least the thinking about the systems so that they can expand to your whole site. But don't start your whole site at the same time. Go to some critical areas, and critical here, by the way, is visible areas, areas with lots of people usually, that helps a lot, but especially areas with plenty of small tools, instruments, and preferably where people are now complaining that they don't have the stuff they need, right? It's lost somewhere. They need to look for it. They can't find the tools they need to do their job, because that's the stuff 5S is absolutely keyed to fixing. If you do the 5S for organizing the big inventory in and out of your process, of course, but people are not really going to feel the part of 5S as much as when it's about their own tools, the stuff they need to work with. So plan accordingly. Think about how can we roll it out over the whole factory, but start in 2, maybe 3 pilot areas. I would suggest more than 1, because otherwise it tends to be just the circus in that one department, but even just the one critical area, good start. Take a relatively small area, like a work cell or an area, so it's smaller than a department generally, where you have a group of people working together. That is a great place to start. Don't do everything at the same time. So, if we continue on that, before you start, you know that when you are gonna sort through all of your stuff, you're gonna probably, not per se throw things away, you'll be throwing things away, but you'll be wanting to throw things away that are probably still valuable, might belong to a different department, and should stay somewhere, just not here. And that is what we have the red tag system for. So make sure that you have a system for your tagging. Now, there's basically 3 tags, right? There is green, should stay here and find a place. There's blue, sometimes orange, amber, yellow, right? But I actually prefer blue if you have it. This needs to stay, but it's broken, so let's send it off to maintenance or some repair facility or whatever. It needs to be repaired first. And then there is red, which is get it out of my area. Now, some implementations say you need to do all that tagging per se. You know me, I'm a bit more practical. If it can be thrown away and the team present that day when they do the cleaning can make that decision, probably because there's a manager there or just because they use good common sense, there is this round archive, on the production floor it's usually a big plastic container on wheels, but throw it away, right? Throw it in the garbage. It is waste. The red tag is only for those things that don't belong here, but you also don't want to throw them away, right? It's probably a tool that should be in some other department. It's maybe materials or whatever stuff, right? It just looks pretty good and you don't really know what to do with it. This, by the way, is not a one-time thing during the total cleanout. No, you need to have a place to put that. So have a red tag area, have a red tag container, have some way that management will also go there and take stuff out. I guarantee you, as soon as you have a nice central red tag location, even the areas that are not using 5S yet, they will love it because people like to organize their workplace. And the main reason you see unwanted stuff lying around is because, well, they also don't know where to then put it. Have a red tag area, people can put it there. So organize that part. Do also organize the blue and the green tags. The green tags are basically for if you have to move something away. So please don't put a green sticker on everything that you're gonna keep. Just do it on stuff that needs to be moved out for now. The blue tags, well, you can also just bring them to maintenance if that's the way you roll, but that's the idea. Make sure that these 3 tags are available, red tags in the first place, and have an area where people can put that stuff. Then, well, if we are talking about that total cleanout, right? The big thing everybody sees on 5S. Yeah, well, let's take a little spin on that. That total cleanout, it is really nice and you should do it. But 5S is about that daily shine. Like every day you should be cleaning a bit, well, the things that are needed to be cleaned, but cleaning a bit, making sure the organization's there, checking stuff is still going right. That part is so much more important than that initial total cleanout. And you also don't want to be in a situation where you sort of have to do a total cleanout twice a year or so, because it just gets back to that situation. So when you plan for your 5S, make sure that you set up a good frequent cleaning, sorting, shining, the whole system of your 5S. Now that doesn't mean that you need to be cleaning everything every day. That's not needed, probably. Well, unless you work in food where it really is needed, but split it up. Which bits of tidying, at least, should be done every shift or even a couple of times per shift? What can be done weekly? Make a schedule and get that into the daily habits of your operators and also of the team leads checking the operators and also of the production manager checking the team leads, right? So there is a whole system of making sure that you maintain your 5S standards on a daily basis, and that is super important, and that completely trumps the big total cleanout. Now the total cleanout is the thing where you get the most photos, where you get the most press, the stuff that some companies will share the one total cleanout they did for a year or more in their presentations of how great their Lean or Six Sigma or TPM implementation was. This is the part. If I see a company that has a good daily practice of maintaining the tidiness and the cleanliness around their workplaces, then I know I've got a 5S company. And that falls or stands with a good daily management. And that, of course, is where our next tip will come from. The frontline managers are key to your 5S adoption, sustaining those changes, making it daily habits. Now, what I often see is that 5S is implemented as part of autonomous management, autonomous maintenance, AM. And then the idea is, well, let's have a big shop manager sort of pilot it, but we immediately put it to make the operator central. Good, right? Make the operator central. But that does not mean sort of ignore the team leads, supervisors, production area managers, things like that. Right? Those frontline management roles, they are so critical. They don't have to do all the work, absolutely not. But they are the linchpin in your follow-up and control plan. So, do they need to make all of the decisions? No, probably not. Should they be leading all the meetings? Maybe, maybe not. They should definitely not have to do all the actions. But the thing they really need to do, and you need to coach them in that from the start, is to make sure that you get this into the daily routines. They need to be very strong on the support, but also on correcting, poor behavior, where people just let their tools lie around or don't do the cleaning. So they need to be checking, because in the end that is needed, right? So as a viewer of my channel, I don't really like to work through discipline, because discipline can only get you so far. But it doesn't mean that discipline can be absent, right? You do need it. It's just not your driving force. It is your sustaining force. And that is reinforced mostly by your frontline managers. Now, of course, there's the whole management hierarchy. You also want the production managers to check the team leaders. You want the operations manager to check the production manager. So there is this pyramid of management, checking, supporting, coaching each other. But there is a key role for the first manager, sort of on top of the first manager above the operator level. And so that part, super important. They need to get the time to do their spot checks, to do their coaching of the operator, and also to troubleshoot. Because more often than not, when you miss a tool on your shadow board, the operator cannot readily replace it. They, for instance, need to ask it of their supervisor. It's pretty common. Now, I have some feelings on it. It's not always the best situation, but I understand why companies do this. So the supervisor has the key to the spares cabinet. They need to be available. They need to help, but they also need to then go the extra step of where is actually the broken tool. Don't give your operators a hard time. Make sure that you understand what happened, understand the system, improve it. So super important that you involve them from the start, that you give them a key role, especially in sustaining all of the things you have to do on a daily level. But maybe you already felt this one coming. You have a key role as well. Please, walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. Start in your own office, whether that's on the shop floor or somewhere in the office area. If you have to, do them both. This also goes for the production manager, for the team leads. Make sure that you embody this idea of having an organized workplace. Even though, if we think about the big picture, your office probably isn't the most important one, right? You probably don't really share the one workplace with multiple people. There's not that much time lost when stuff is not absolutely in a nice and neat order, because you probably know where it all went. So it's not the biggest benefit purely logically, but psychologically, it is critical that you give the example, that you also let people know that you're working with it, probably struggling with it, and set those standards. So when you do a production area, yes, do 2 lines or so to start with, and the team leader's office as well, or at least some common area as well. Make sure those things are maintained. If you want a relatively simple start for that, if you have a daily control meeting board, especially if it's like a physical board, make that your little temple of organization as well. There's always web markers available. Why? Because you have a system in place to restock them the whole time. Little things. But the best, of course, is if you have a visible meeting place for your TPM program, your own office, the team leaders in the production area. They, and especially you, need to set that example. Now, something you may have missed in this list is something about that big 5S tool, the shadow board. That's because when I was prepping, sort of what do I want to share with you, there were so many shadow board tips that I'm just going to make an entire video right after this. You'll get it next week on shadow board tips as well. There is so much you can do correctly, really nice, and that can go wrong with a shadow board. Key part of a 5S implementation. Although the first tip in that video will be that they're optional, but these, consider them more the organizational tips for giving 5S a good foundation within how you support it. So make sure that you know where you're going, but you don't overreach from the beginning. Make sure that people can go somewhere with the stuff they don't need. That is a big mess up for many 5S implementations. That one cleaning is really not enough. You need a daily, shiftly, weekly, but you need a full schedule of when do we tidy and clean and inspect and everything that's involved in maintaining your workplace. And make sure that your frontline managers support this actively. They need to be monitoring the behavior, they need to be coaching, supporting, and from time to time also giving some negative feedback if that is called for. And you lead the way. Now I hope that improves your 5S implementation with giant leaps. If you got any value from this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and maybe in the comments suggest another 5 tips topic. I actually like this video format more than I thought I would, and I also saw that you like it a lot more than many of my other formats. So what topic in continuous improvement, in operational excellence, is a bit tricky. Could use some practical tips from my little old me. For now, I wish you the best of luck implementing successful and sustained 5S in your plant. And as always, don't forget to also enjoy the continuous improvement journey.